What's up, guys? Ted here. I am going to just do a quick run through on the futures of Nasdaq and the S&P minis, of course. Uh, I have been going through Apex Trader Funding. I'll include a link in the description so that if you ever feel like you're up for a funding challenge, you can go through that link and read all the details there. I would show you the website and all that, but that would take a lot of time to go through. Maybe I'll do that on the next video and just go through the ins and the outs of that particular program. I know my face is very bright right now. It's not typically like that, but it's the best I could do with the green screen behind me. Hey, I'm not a liar. So, anyways, on to the first chart. How shall we? All right. So, the first one is going to be the ES, which is the S&P Mini. Um, Now, what we're going into, the market just opened on the Sunday. Um, what I have outlined here is, okay, yeah, I guess that would be it. Um, is right now at the end of the week, you can see it did well at the beginning of the week last week, or midweek, I should say. Well, yeah, the week before. Whenever it drove up and got across this break of structure, let me see if it'll mark it and show it on the actual video. Not sure it's showing the exact same thing for some reason. Oh, you know what? I may have another Brave browser open with it. And I think I just closed it. Hold on one second. Technical difficulties, of course, right off the bat. Properties. Oh, I'm showing you in Q, that's why. Wait, what? Should be ES. There we go. That was the issue. I was showing you NASDAQ instead of the ES Mini. Alright, so the ES Mini here. Uh, as you can see down below, we did have a daily, in the green box down there, we had a daily fair value gap. It dropped down into it not once, not twice, but three times. Um, Two of those daily candles actually filled it. Two dropped down below. One went down and hit a daily bearish order block, or sorry, bullish order block, I should say. And then the third dropped down maybe about halfway through that wick, which I have recently learned that wicks would be considered gaps. Um, so if we were to make a drawing and take, let me see here, um, drawing a rectangle, let me see if I can't get that wick in a box here. And you can see it hits about midway through, so it acts as consequential encroachment um, on this wick. So that's why it didn't get any farther down than about halfway, and then took off and went upwards, hit this break of structure here, um, and then barely closed above here. Now we're not a complete break of structure all the way up at the top, but we are slowly getting a higher high and a less lower low. So therefore, I don't have a complete bias going into Monday. Um, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I would expect this daily SIBI here, or sorry, BISI here, which is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, which is basically a fair value gap, where the buy side candle is creating the fair value gap there. As you can see, it came down and closed it. on one side. Now, in fair value gaps form, they have to be, and this is a formulated idea that I have noticed. It's not something that I usually take from ICT. Most of my training and most of what I regurgitate is basically ICT ideas. Some of mine are my own. Now, this is one that's my own that I've noticed, and that when a fair value gap is filled, um, it needs to come back the other way and fill it the other way. So if it drops down and fills its fair value gap on one side, uh, it will usually have to go back up price action wise and fill it the other way, before any other moves are made. So that's what I am anticipating on this daily fair value gap here, this buy side imbalance, sell side efficiency. So it may happen in a day. It may happen in a few days. Who knows? This could be a consolidation, um, as you do have another fair value gap within it, as you can see right here. That would be a SIBI. So again, also should be hitting the top of that, since and then again, since it should, uh, the price action should be collecting the price on both sides, right? It should also come up and then come back down. And that come back down would actually be about midway of the original daily buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, which would be the consequential encroachment, which would make sense if this is bullish, right? If this is bullish, then it would continue upward, right? So we would actually have to watch out for that and see if that's going to happen. Now, if it pushes through, it's going to push through hard, and it's going to go down for these sell side liquidity points. And the reason I think that it could possibly do that is because we do have a volume imbalance way down here at the bottom. Now, it is preceded by a bearish candle. So, how likely is that to happen? Uh, Not so much likely, but there is a possibility for that to happen. If I go there and I go extend right, you will see that is where the volume imbalance occurs. So you could see an anticipation of it going up, hitting the top, running back down, running these sell side imbalance, or sorry, these sell side liquidity lows, hitting this volume imbalance, and then moving up. That and that could be a weekly thing. That could be 2 days. It could be a couple weeks. The timeline for these things are not set in stone. It's not easy to tell when the timeline for these things are going to occur. Um, it's more just about reading about what's on the chart and about what the algorithm will do and what Marnie will do to take it there. So, that being said, that is pretty much all that I have for the S&P mini chart. That is what you should be looking for. Next, I will be going to the Nasdaq, which it did not change to the Nasdaq. So hold on one second. I will have to change this on my own. Let's see here, properties. Going to NQ. There we go. Now we got the Nasdaq. As you can see, the Nasdaq is acting just a little bit differently. Usually, when they're in unison, you will see a large run. They're not completely in unison, considering that this one didn't fill the daily buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, just as the S&P mini did. So therefore, you could see a more of a drop at first, as it could be rising. I have this green box here that is kind of hard to see in in the middle of all this, but you do see where it says median threshold of daily bearish breaker. That's actually right around the same spot of where this consequential encroachment of this sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency is on this daily chart as well. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the daily charts, and the daily charts only try to get a larger view. I'm not going to try to dig into, the 15 minutes, the 1 hours, things like that. That should be done during trading hours at the time, of these things happening. So I could actually see this thing rising just like I did with the ES, coming up inside this daily sell side imbalance, sell side and buy side inefficiency, possibly hitting the median threshold, or not really median threshold, because that's more for your blocks, your breaker blocks, order blocks, things like that. This would be more for a consequential encroachment. That's the difference in the terminology. So it could hit that and then drop and try to fill the rest of this fair value gap that here is in blue. Now, there is also another volume imbalance right down here, the same exact spot as there was for the S&P Mini. There's also one right here, liquidity void, that I have drawn out. But this one has already been reached into with the price action, and then got rejected immediately. So the chances of it getting back down there, quite slim. The chances of this one getting to, again, toss up. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's always going to reach there, just because it's preceded by a very, very large bearish candle. But if we see this action after it goes up, more than likely going to go up and then start dropping, and we see it dropping at a very fast rate, then you could see it actually reach into this this liquidity void right here, extend right there. It is. It's on your screen, somewhere around just below the 15,000 mark, and right around here was my mark where I thought the NQ, or the Nasdaq, and this is the September contract, which should be coming to a rollover soon. But that was about the lowest I think I had it going. It could be dropping even further. You do have a weekly fair value gap in between about 14,400 and around 14,100, which would make the consequential encroachment on this, with the coordinates here, 14,200 and roughly about 65. So, and if we go back in time, as you can see, it has not fallen back into this fair value gap. And if you know anything about smart money, if you've been following smart money, sorry, I got a little twist in my words there. If you know anything about smart money, following smart money, you do know that the imbalances will take precedent over any kind of blocks, breaker blocks, order blocks, anything like that. So the gaps are what price is attracted to. Why? Because price has to balance out. And that's what these fair value gaps are for. It just means that there's a huge imbalance in price, and so therefore it needs to balance out. So I do think we will eventually see a drop down to that level. How long is it going to take? I don't know. That's what this whole maybe talk of recession and the market bottoming out and all this stuff could possibly be leading to. I just don't think it's going to be as scary as people are making it out to seem. It could be a huge drop in a day that could scare the bejesus out of people, and people start selling off and doing all this, I would say hang tight. And this is not financial advice. This is just my personal view. I would hang tight and wait for it to drop to that area, and that's when I would possibly add a long. Um, and of course, always hedge. That is kind of my thing lately, especially in the crypto markets. I've definitely been hedging, um, but I won't get into the crypto today. Only the futures of the Nasdaq and the ES Mini, and we shall see. Like I said, this daily liquidity void did reach into it. Not for sure if it's going to get back into it, but more than likely there's a possibility it will because of the fair value gap weekly that we do see down here reaching down into the low 14,000s on the Nasdaq. So that's all I got. And yeah, uh, if you have any questions, comment below. Again, look out for the link to the Apex Funder trader funding if you're looking up for a funding challenge. And I guess I'll see you guys on the flip side from Bodies and Wicks. Thanks for watching, and spread the word.